Listen, we've been smashing the market. Imagine taking 48 trades. Imagine taking 48 trades, 44 of them work. And not only are you taking them, imagine you are trading. As you're entering and exiting everything, you share it with a community of people as well. So not only do you get to benefit from this, everyone in your community is also benefiting. Imagine how awesome that is. And that's exactly what's going on right now. I shared 48 trades, 44 of them worked. That's a 91% success rate. You can see in the Discord server, I'm sharing day trades, swing trades. I'm going to be sharing a lot more swing trades now that the year started. Things are just going to continue, and it's going to be really, really great. So if you want access to my Discord server, look, the link to join is down below. The proof is in the pudding. Whether you like it or not, we're here to take over 2025. I'm going to be sharing crypto signals, futures, forex, and options, of course. So if you want access to the group, make sure to join. And I hope to see you guys there. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what is going to go on with the overall market. The SP500, the NASDAQ, the Russell, the dollar, the bonds, the large tech stocks. What's going to end up happening? Is the SPY going to break above 587 again? Is it going to break below 580? What's going on? It's going to take a look at we're going to have to take a look at a few of these stocks to get a good understanding of what's going to happen. All right, so let's get started. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get right to the point. When the large tech stocks, when the winners are being beaten down like this, it's very, very tough to be bullish on the market. So Apple, bearish. I was explaining how it would be really, really nice to see Apple back down to around 240, retest this zone. It makes sense. That's currently what's going on. It's not too complicated, right? Tesla, also pulling back. I mentioned a level to be bearish below at 434. We're at 378 now. Nice and simple. I was saying it would make a lot of sense for Tesla to come back, retest this zone, the 340 to 360 zone. Nice and simple. We're almost there now, right? That's essentially all that was going on. But we were getting a bit of a pullback in the winners, while, oddly enough, a lot of the large tech stocks were still holding support, and Nvidia was actually showing strength. So it's pretty interesting. So obviously, Tesla and Apple took a bit of a dive. Microsoft, however, so Microsoft was also showing bearishness, but now it's getting very, very overextended, right? So it's getting overextended to the downside. I'd rather, for bulls, right, if you want a bounce to occur, okay, you want stocks to be trading outside of the lower level of the Bollinger Band. The Bollinger Band is very, very important to look at because it shows algorithmically how far overextended to the downside a stock is. The more overextended to the downside a stock is, the higher the likelihood that it bounces. Okay, so watching stocks that are overextended like this like for example on Microsoft, very, very, way more bullish than it is bearish. Okay, if the Bollinger Bands were trading down here, right, and we had this set up, this would look very, very bearish because it still shows that we're so far away from the lower level of the Bollinger Band, right? But that's not the case. It's not looking as terrible as it does on paper, okay? So Microsoft, Tesla, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, biggest losers so far, right? Amazon, however, holding support. Didn't break below support, closed above it, right? Obviously, it's still showing weakness at the bearish level that I pointed out earlier because it's acting as resistance. Still holding support right at that level of resistance. It's not breaking lower, right? Google, also same concept, same exact concept as Amazon, holding resistance at the bearish level, holding above support. Nothing too serious. Meta, holding support. Painted a nice green candle. Netflix, holding support, wicked above support. Nothing too terrible, right? But Netflix does look bearish. This is not a bullish setup. It's not a bullish setup on Microsoft. These stocks still do look like they have room to go lower, but I'm pointing out that they're not completely breaking down below support the way that Apple and Tesla did, right? We saw Amazon already, and let's take a look at Nvidia. Nvidia Nvidia is doing well. We are up nicely on Nvidia at the moment. Bullish. It looks like it wants to break out higher. It is what it is. And then AMD, we're probably gonna just go ahead and stop trading AMD for the rest of the year. We took 2 trades on AMD. We went, so look, for today, I think we went 7 for 9. We went 6 for 8. Both of the losses were on AMD. So I might just have to stop trading AMD for the entire year. But yeah, essentially just AMD looks like it's starting to try to bottom out, obviously, right? This is not, we could still come back and retest the trend line, right? The bounce that we had from the lows didn't go as planned, right? We're almost back down. But if you're going to want to go long, if you're going to want to take a trade, right? This is exactly what I was saying before, a few days ago. If you want to take a trade on AMD, this is exactly what I was saying down here. Would it make sense to lean bearish into new lows? Of course not. So that's why you essentially it's a bit of a difficult spot. You're basically just gonna want to lean long for longer term out. I'm not entirely sure how much buying pressure is going to come into AMD, but next week there should be some buyers stepping in for chips because there's going to be a lot of bullish news for chips heading into this next week. So AMD, Nvidia, these can start doing very well. And that's one of the reasons why, especially being bullish on AMD down here, makes the most sense. And that's really that for the large tech stocks. The other thing that was bearish for the overall market is the VIX at support. And the VIX continued up. So obviously we look at the VIX for one main reason, is because when the VIX is rising, that is generally very bearish for the overall market. We saw the VIX at a level of support continue to rise. Today was also another big day. When the VIX is rising like this, the market falls. That's exactly what ended up happening. Now, just looking at this from the ES, we're still clearly closing below the 22.6% fib. This is by no means is this bullish. By no means am I saying that this is a bullish setup. I'm just saying that in the immediate short term, there could still be a bit more of a pullback, but it's very, very difficult to start being bearish. Like, it's very, very difficult to start being aggressively bearish. Yes, cool. Grabbing puts, swinging some puts overnight, by all means, great. But to, really, okay, oh, there go. Oh, that's it. It's time to be bearish. It's very, very bad idea, in my opinion. Very, very bad idea. If you do want to go short, you got to go short against levels of resistance with tight stop losses. Very clearly right now, the ES has more room to go. Let's just take a look at it on the SPY. So the SPY is holding this 583, 584 levels of support very well, right? But we closed below the 22.6. If we do not break, so here's the thing. Personally, we're going to need some monstrous buying pressure from the overall market. I don't know if that's going to end up happening, but it's going to be primarily led by chips. If Nvidia and AMD continue to do well, that's going to be a very good sign for the overall market. If Nvidia starts to break above 140, that's going to be a very, very good sign for the overall market. Tesla, Apple also might get a bid. And then essentially the SPY would need to get a solid close above 588, 589. If those things occur, then the SPY can continue rising. I think primarily this move to the upside is going to be dependent on Nvidia and the chips. And of course, if Apple and Tesla can continue. If we remain below, I think for tomorrow, even if we remain below 583 for tomorrow, that's going to be kind of scary, in my opinion, because then we could easily see 577, 578 area on the SPY. We will most likely come back and fill this gap at the 570, 674. And this is all based off tomorrow. If tomorrow, in my opinion, if we don't end up breaking above 583, we could drift lower. But again, guys, it's just it's very tough to just be extremely bearish. All right, so I don't want you guys to just blindly start going short, right? Because we're already we've fallen lower. Yeah, I could be holding some puts overnight. That's irrelevant. But it's not a really solid opportunity to go short in terms of risk reward. Yeah, the downside target would be 578. It's not that great, okay? But regardless, that's my thought process. We obviously still have bearish momentum, okay? We obviously still have bearish momentum going on in the market, but the faster we can, I think the best thing for the market is if we just end up filling this gap. If we fill this gap, if Microsoft starts to vomit even further, if Tesla and Apple come back down to those levels of support all tomorrow, then that's going to be a really good long opportunity, in my opinion. Let's see what ends up happening. Every day is different. So far, it's been really, really fun trading today for the new year and for the last few weeks. So let's just see what ends up happening. So far, so good. Things are going really well. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Thank you.